I'll caption this one. A month spent finishing a lot of books I should have finished already. What's going on, YouTube? Michael R. Schulteis here, author of the Rosteval Saga, which you can see on the shelf behind me. Today I want to talk about everything I want to read in April. I'll also discuss my writing, and I have some important developments on that front too. So, most of these books, actually all of these books, I've already started, and I want to finish most or all of them in the month of April. No promises. You see, I've been hard at work on my writing too. We call this foreshadowing. So I haven't had as much time to read. Book number 1, Shadows of Dust by Alec Hudson. I am 27% in on Kindle. This one is really trippy. It's space opera, except there's no space. There's ether that you can breathe. And humans and other sentient races will travel through the ether on gigantic animals. The protagonist actually has a great big turtle. It has a strong D&D vibe, which I really love as a devotee of both Pathfinder and 5th edition for a number of years. There's liches and all kinds of cool magic. I have to say I'm really, really loving it. All right, book number 2, The Purple Prince by Sebastian Menkes. Apologies if I mispronounced your name. Now, 26% in, that's shameful. I picked this book up back in January. I'm enjoying it so much. It's an epic fantasy with a lot of steampunk elements, and it works really well. There's a tyrannical world empire with a revenant undead workforce and army. Fascinating commentary on industrial class relations, and there's a lot of really cool magic. The powers that be in this world killed the gods a long time ago, and now there are people who still believe in the gods but have to go underground, and a lot of hiding and trying to stay away from the authorities. A fun exploration of some of the questions we've had to deal with in the modern age, in our own world. Fantasy can be a great way to explore these questions in ways that dramatize them with magic, with supernatural forces. And I really dig this one so much. So I'm looking forward to talking about it a lot more. I will definitely review this one when I finish it up, hopefully this month. All right, book number 3, Memories of Ice by Steven Erikson. Book 3 of Malazan, and I am 28% in. 28% in, that's kind of shameful. I actually shelved this one a while back and picked it up, and I'm going, why did I ever shelve this? It's great. I'm not going to summarize it. I think if you're into Malazan, you know. If you don't know, it's a really complicated series, and I am not going to do justice to it, especially partway into book 3. This one is a lot of fun. I am really enjoying it. I think I had to build up my reader muscles a little bit, but now that I'm back to it, it's great. And I'm just shaking my head going, why did you ever shelve this thing in the first place? Okay, on to book 4, Carrion Comfort by Dan Simmons. I am 67% in according to my notes. Finally, one that makes me look a little bit better, because I've been reading this one pretty much consistently for a few weeks now, and this is another winner. This is why I became a Dan Simmons fan in the first place. This is a book about a group of folks who are mind vampires. They have psychic powers to control people. It's really horrifying. They use them to do awful things. It's also about a bunch of people who find out about the mind vampires and are trying to hunt them down. You can't really go to the police if the mind vampires control whoever they want and make them do whatever they want. So this one has a lot of interesting historical tie-ins, both farther back. It was came out in the 80s, and there's some tie-ins to history that happened in the 80s, so there's some tie-ins to World War II history. It is really fascinating. It has very well-drawn characters, which is what you kind of expect in a Dan Simmons novel, and that's on display here, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So, looking forward to doing a review of this one. So far, it's a real winner. All right, book number 5, The Way of Idan, by Philip Chase. Now, this one probably doesn't need much introduction. It's all over BookTube, and it deserves to be. I am 16% in And folks, it is fascinating. It is just wonderful. I'm getting a strong historical vibe here. I think the key historical influence I see so far is the Christianization of Europe in the early to high Middle Ages. And I really, really dig how he's exploring that in a fantasy context, in a fantasy world. It feels really interesting, really fascinating. I mean, I'm not that far in, but so far I'm really digging it. And as a history buff, there's a lot to love here, in addition to all the fantasy elements. All right, book number 6, I, the Jury, by Mickey Spillane. Book 1 of the Mike Hammer series. Oh man, this is 1940s hard-boiled detective fiction. And you just have to love it. At least I do. The protagonist, Mike Hammer, is a World War II veteran who has become a private eye. He has a flair for unconventional tactics, by which I mean he goes where the police won't or can't go and does what they won't or can't do. And they know about it, and they're pretty much cool with it because he kind of takes out the trash. It's great. So when a very good friend of his is murdered in a brutal fashion, Mike can't turn away. He has to get involved. He has to get justice. Or at least get revenge. I'm loving this one so much. It's just absolutely nuts. Think James Bond meets Harry Dresden. And actually, obviously, this is a lot older. This is published in 1947. So I have to wonder if maybe, and I don't know this, I'm just speculating, I'm wondering if maybe this might have been an influence on Dresden Files, which is one of my favorite series of all time. And I think this one may end up getting that distinction too. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing how the ending lands for me. And if he really sticks the landing, I think I may have a new favorite series. Another part of the fun here is just the history. This book is published in 1947, so it really feels like you're in America in the 1940s. And that is just all kinds of fun all by itself. All right, that's everything I want. I'm looking to finish up, or at least keep pushing along in the month of April. So a lot of booktubers have much better. They're going to start a bunch of books and finish them too, and my cap is off to you. All of you awesome people doing that. But that's my realistic TBR. Anything else is probably in the realm of fantasy. Speaking of which, let's talk book 4 of the Rosteval Saga, aka my current project. So, shortly before filming this video, I hit 120,000 words. For a bit of context, I hit 110,000 words a few days ago. Actually, back on Tuesday, actually. And I hit 100,000 words last Thursday, the 23rd. So, in a week, I've added 20,000 words. And for a bit of context, at the end of January, I had 20,000 words. So there's folks who can write a lot faster than that. But for me, that's pretty good. That's pretty firing in all cylinders. That makes me very optimistic. Because for a bit of context now, Book 1, The Altar of My Fate, is about 147,000 words long. Book 2, The Spiral of My Destiny, is about 163,000 words long-ish. Book 3, The Third Way of My God, is about 198,000 words. So this book has 120,000 words. The pace I'm going, I can probably finish it before the end of this month. And I have another motivation to finish before the end of the month because my wife and I are going to California in early May for my cousin's wedding. One of my cousin's wedding. He came to ours, so we'll gotta go there. Gotta go to soak up the sunshine in Southern California, catch some rays. So my thinking is, I finished the book in April. It's a nice little bit of a parallelism because I actually finished the first draft of book 3 1 week before we got married, back end of last July, before we got married in August. So this would be a meaningful goal that I'm hoping to hit before the end of the month, and I think that's probably realistic. So, as long as I pull that off, the plan is, I go to California, I take a couple weeks off, About mid-May, I'll get back to this. I expect the process of editing and revision will take about another 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. That puts us to about, I'm going to say mid-June. Be padded my estimate a little bit here. Now, as long as that's the case, that means I can order the cover art about mid-June. And if that's the case, publication end of June, maybe very early July. Somewhere in there. So, I am really excited. I can't wait to share this book with you all. We'll have a lot more videos about the series and whether it's right for you or not. And we'll be talking a lot more about all 3 books and about book 4. So, how about you guys? What are your April TBR plans? Anything you're especially excited for? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll hope to see you next time.